I don't want to use its currency. I don't want to use its stupid codes and statutes. I don't want to be restricted like that. I want to be free and independent. And upon that idea, I will take full responsibility for myself and my own actions. And that's where people have to start. They have to start not in a law book. They have to start within their own mind, and they have to slowly or quickly deconstruct this mental prison that you live in of your own choosing.
Sloth is one of the deadly sins, right? It's the laziness that has gotten us here, and we're going to have to get unlazy real quick or pay for it.
Absolutely, but there are a lot of people out there who are doing all kinds of crazy things, and maybe I have been fighting the whole let's erect a web page, slap my face on it, let's erect all of these things and have me just splattered out there helping people. And I'll tell people inside my own mind, I have problems with that. But if I have to utilize that to educate people, I will. And then just before I pass on into whatever world awaits me in the next, I'll just abolish it all and discontinue the organization altogether. I mean, I don't know how I really do it, but, I mean, you can create organizations and do things as long as you have the ideological structure behind you that is the correct one, which is people, let's use John Franklin Kennedy. No matter what you think of the man, he did say, what humans have always been and what they should be is free and independent.
They didn't like him.
No, they killed him because most people, through the educational process, you learn so many things. And people could talk about, he didn't want to blow up the commies, or he didn't want to go here, and he didn't want to go there, and so the CIA had him clipped. Well, the real reality of it is a few days before his death, he gave a speech. And he talked about secret societies and so on and so forth. And then at the end of that speech, he signed Presidential Executive Order 1111. Yes, which pretty much reestablished the constitutional currency and gold and silver, and it was the first step to destroying the Federal Reserve. He had to go. That's why he was killed. Those people thought he would understand. In Iraq, it's the oil. We're after the oil. We're after this. Well, okay, why is it before the United States put all of their effort behind their own man, Saddam Hussein, why is it that they did that? Well, only weeks before that they started throwing their weight behind killing Saddam Hussein and regime change is because the Federal Reserve said we are going to establish a Federal Reserve enclave centralized bank in your country.
Oh, interesting. No,
Saddam Hussein
I didn't know that.
No.
Interesting.
So they killed him.
He wouldn't play along
That's
all
why
the way.
He
played along a good way, but he wouldn't go all the way. Interesting.
Well, basically what he saw it as is he was going through the motions. I'm the king. I kill anybody I want. Oh, wait a minute. You're going to set up a centralized bank and take away all my power and basically make me a figurehead puppet? No. And that's why they killed him. And that's why if you saw through the trial, he was not allowed to wear his uniforms. He was never addressed really as the ruler of the country. And at the end, during his death, I mean, they basically wanted to treat him as if he was, dog meat. And everybody thinks that, that's because he was a mean man and he gassed the curves. No, it was so the Federal Reserve banks could sit back and watch him on TV and go, how you like me now?
Wow.
That's what this is about. And they look to set up a centralized bank in Iran.
Yeah.
And what are we hearing in the news? The war drums are pounding. They're bad people. They hate women and they're horrible. It's all because of that central bank that they will not accept.
We got to just start bartering with each other. We got to break it down to the simple.
Well, I mean, and that's why when the Constitution was signed, they knew. They knew that's why they went with gold and silver, because it had an amazing track record, it maintained wealth and value, and no one could create it out of thin air. You had to actually do some physical effort to acquire it, whether you were farming and trading your goods for gold or you were actually mining the gold out of the ground. You couldn't just create something. And it forces governments to actually balance their budgets, watch what they're spending. And when they want to go do something like a war, what do they have to do? They have to walk out to the people, hang their head down, and go, we need money.
Now they just declare, and we just acquiesce, and that's why we're where we are. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 1215.org, and you also have a radio show that you do every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, correct? From...
Yes, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's American.
And that's at blogtalkradio.com/freedomizerradio. And, you know, I realize a lot of people aren't even going to listen to this interview because there's no pretty pictures to go with it and it takes too much thinking. But for those of you who have made it all the way through this interview, you guys are, you know, the head of the pack. So if you've got any specific questions, you know, you can contact Eric right on the show and, you know, ask him whatever you want. He's right there personally to ask, and that's just a great gift. So, you know, we got to get on this and figure out clever ways to organize with each other. And, you know, I just say unplug the beast. It's not so much, you know, quit feeding the beast. It's not so much that we have to, you know, attack the beast and kill it. We just have to stop feeding it, because without us, it doesn't exist any longer. It's just pretty simple.
Oh, it's you know, and it's a really weird way to put it, but it's basically envision this system as a baby that never has to leave the womb. So the baby's in there, and it's continuing to grow, and it does its thing. Well, if I reach in and I pinch off the umbilical cord, the baby will die. Because it can't get fed. Well, your governments are the same thing. Just reach up and pinch off the cord. Say, "Oops, I'm sorry," and watch the beast collapse under its own weight.
It's coming. I just feel it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just, you know, we're going to have to forge forward and make it happen. You know, the sooner the better, as far as I can tell. So, yeah. Okay. Do you have any, I don't know, last words that you want to say besides that? And I like the imagery of a baby rather than a big beast, because it's, you know, more ominous and scary, right? Okay, it's just a baby and we're feeding it. You know, we can end it too.
You just stop feeding it. You stop feeding it, and you know, I guess what I tell people is that, as Susan said, those of you who have listened to the entirety of the conversation, you have only touched the tip of what you can do. But let me tell you this in all honesty. It is not easy to stand up against the public. And because of the fact of the way the world is structured, there are going to be so few people who want to aid you for fear of all of these horrible things. But once you start winning and gaining ground, and it's easy to help you, then everyone will rush to help you. So you must realize that this is a fight where you're going to have to actually put forth work. You're going to have to go out into your community. You're going to have to gather up like-minded people. And you may not even be able to start with the laws and the codes. You may have to start working groups where you guys just come, meet together, and start talking about this ideology. Start talking about that. And once you start that, and you start seeing that ball start to roll, and focusing on open debate. Don't argue, don't yell at people, don't accost them for their ideas, just debate back and forth and back and forth. And this is how America was created. And once you do that and you start talking about this ideological structure, you will see more and more people will come together, because the good stuff will rise to the top. And those will be the people you know you need to work with. And that group will grow, and it will grow, and it will grow, and it will grow, and you have to continue to educate, and that's how it's going to be done. It's going to be steps that you individually take, and it's going to be work.
But totally rewarding. Totally rewarding.
Well, it's the pinnacle of rewards. It's the absolute reward that you could ever receive in the natural world. Is to be free, to be free and independent.
Yeah. Let's go get our abundance, everybody. It's out there. We just have to figure out how to do it and take it and stand up to it and just do it, want to do it. So I guess on that note, we will thank Eric Lovely for spending all this wonderful time with us and highlighting and educating us. And I hope some of you will, care enough to tune into his show and ask questions and start your own community. Start the ball rolling. Like he said, just throw some some thoughts around and get down to an ideology of this. And I always, people always say, right, where your mind is, your body tends to follow. So it all starts in the mind. It starts in the consciousness shift. And like he said, we've just barely tapped into it. But we need to quit thinking like slaves, because we are thinking like slaves. We are acting like slaves. And there's no cause for it. There's no excuse for it. It needs to end. So. Okay, so on that note, have a wonderful evening, everybody, and till the next show. Okay, bye.